Morning, guys. I wanted to show you what this is turning out like. I took a picture for and then I wanted to upholster it. In real life, I didn't get it quite that far, but I wanted to put real thick padding so it was really wide, and I wanted to upholster it in the. I got to put a. I found this. They painted it. Someone painted it from the inside, I think, but I'm gonna sand it and try to get some of the paint off it, and then I want to mount it into the back here. I'd like to do it in a way to where it looks like it's padding, like it's sunken into it. But they had so much glue on the windows that I went ahead and I made a visor that had I gone further with the truck, I would have put a visor on it. And they had used so much glue that it caved the doors in. They used the glue for the interior panels, but they used so much that it caved this panel in and this panel on both doors. So I had to form all of that out of Bondo, and I think it turned out quite nice in a very short amount of time. Here was the rear end that the real truck had. I found that in the parts box. It's molded in red, but that'll be black, so it's no big deal. Then I got started on the side pipes. I turned them on my lathe and drilled 1/8-inch hole in each side to get started with the side pipe or the stacks, which were side pipes, but I made them exactly the right height. Exactly the right height that they were. So those will be ideal. And I started making the slant 6. I got a head and a valve cover, and I cut it. And I cut it at an angle. Now it had exhaust on it, which was pretty cool, but it was on the wrong side. I need to redesign it and make it come out the side. So I got that going on. And then the pipe. I got to get it out of the way here. It was a semi, so I had to cut and trim and take all that off. I got the seats off. They used just an absolute tube of glue to do each window. They used a tube on each window and just on everything. But the more I look at my interior pictures, the more I realize that they weren't the stock seats that were in this Dodge. They were a tall back, about 75 Camaro seats. So I'm going to look through my parts box and find those. That's the interior. Here's a base from a pickup. I found if I turn it around to come out the front, then I can trim it and then use the rest for the frame for the back, for the flatbed portion of it. I even found the rear view mirrors, and I found the windshield wipers for it, which it had. They were right out in the way, but those are perfect windshield wipers. And these rear view mirrors are pretty close. They had beads rolled in them sideways here. That was about the only difference with that, but I'm kind of glad I got that. The steering wheel was pretty close. It had the wood riveted to the outside, the teak wood, and then it had a deeper dish, deep dish, but that is pretty close. Let me see if I can find some other stuff here. Now the wheels, when I bought the truck, they had real deep dish, which I'm trying to make myself. Yeah, you can tell. And I got to glue those together. And even the tires were wider. But it had deep dish on the front, which made it hard to steer without any kind of power steering. But the second I got the 5 slots, the second I got them painted inside, they got stolen right off the truck. So I'm kind of thinking about going that route. But I also had these on it. They were Cyclone 2, which this is about the right width tire in the back. And the fronts were a little wider than this, but that's the second set of tires I had on it. And then the ones from the picture were Mickey Thompson Pro Street tires. So these are exactly right for it. But I need Bud wheels for the front. They were real narrow, but they were Bud wheels, and I think to get them in the right scale for a semi, that's probably 130. I don't know, but I'm sure I could find a set that would be about the right. But these hubcaps from Impala are kind of close. But this is a beer kegger that kind of kicked the whole thing off. That needs to go underneath the flatbed. And then on the other side, I had an aluminum battery box that I bought from the trailer place that I worked at. They had it out in the showroom. It was kind of pricey. I think it was around $200. That was way back then in the 90s, but it was aluminum. And this one, being from a semi, it's really too big. So I'm going to have to section it and then narrow it down and probably maybe even cut it in the middle. But if I can get her sectioned down right, it was to go underneath this side, which I never had it on there. I had it inside the truck. And then my ex-wife, my first wife, I went to work, and when I came home, my truck was gone. I said, "Hey, what's going on?" She goes, "Oh, yeah, Schrader came by and he bought it." I'm like, "Oh, really? He bought my truck?" I said, "That's not even for sale. I've had it for 13 years, and I'd been married at that time for about a year and a half, 2 years. I was newlywed. She wasn't mad at me. We weren't fighting or nothing like that. But she sold it for just the price of one rear Mickey Thompson tire. She sold it for like $400. And she was proud of herself. And I said, "Oh, you got to be kidding me. I had it for 13 years. She saw that I worked on that all the time." But anyway, it's all water under the bridge. But I had made a model of it before, and it was on the dashboard of the truck when she sold it. So that's gone. And I had these wheels on it at the time, the Cyclone 2s. So this one I'm doing different in that I upholstered the sleeper, and I have an option to go ahead and use the Cyclone 2s, but maybe if I turn these on the lathe, those Bud wheels for the front, because without the Bud wheels, I don't really want to go with them. Although with the big beefy Pro Street tires, it looked the best. So I'm really, and if I do the slots right that were on it, that might even be better yet. So I'm kind of torn between which ones I want to go with. But that's how it's turning out, guys. The thumbnail picture is what it looked like 24 hours ago. Just a little over, because 24 hours ago I was making the video. So I'd say about 26 or 27 hours ago, I was missing this whole side because they glued it. Let me see. They used tuba glue, and they glued the whole thing to it, and I couldn't get any of it apart the right way. And boy, what a mess they had going on. They had to use like 3 tubes of glue to get this done. But that's it so far. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you with that, and I'll talk to you on the next one. I hope to have the thing done, which would be great because I'm that impatient. Okay, talk to you on the next one. Bye bye.